All right, I got to take some time to address this here.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
Did you hear about the most recent startling development in the realm of celebrity scandals? Picture this. Marjorie Harvey decided that the day Diddy was arrested was the ideal time to file for divorce from Steve Harvey. While some people believe this was a coincidence, the entire situation is fueling a flurry of irrational rumors that tie Steve Harvey, the beloved comedian and TiVost, entered Diddy's downward spiral. But let's stand back and examine how this all came to an end.
Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs.
First of all, in case you haven't been paying attention, Diddy, also known as Puff Daddy, has been arrested. The charges against him are serious. We're talking conspiracy, trafficking, and even more terrifying allegations that have the entertainment industry in shock. However, Diddy's troubles don't end there. The more people he brings down with him, the more people he affects indirectly. And yes, that includes Steve Harvey, the man who has been all smiles and dad jokes on our screens. That Diddy sinking.
I think in federal court and for these charges, they would say it's routine, but in the public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail.
Let's go back a few years. Diddy has been a titan in the entertainment industry, creating an empire through his business endeavors, music career, and dazzling demeanor. However, we were blind to the grim underbelly of all that glamour and glitz. Steve Harvey is the guest that has been said to attend some of Diddy's renowned parties, which were supposedly the hottest ticket in town, but they are now being exposed for what they truly were. Chaotic, scandalous occasions where anything and everything went down.
And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact
when rumors began to circulate that Steve Harvey had any connection to Diddy's infamous parties, fans were shocked. Could it really be true that Steve Harvey was a member of the same circle that's now collapsing with it? Steve Harvey is now known for his sharp suits, motivational speeches, and being the epitome of a family man. His entire brand is based around his image as a self-made man who rose from the streets of Cleveland to become one of the most beloved figures in Hollywood.
The unit is a 24-hour lockdown unit, which means that any movement within that unit is controlled and coordinated, and no inmate moves outside of his cell without being in full restraints, to include leg irons, handcuffs, a belly chain, and at least 2, if not 3 staff members escorting.
People are now speculating that Steve wasn't just an innocent bystander. There are whispers that he knew far more than he let on, and given the charges Diddy is facing, it's not difficult to imagine that some pretty big names are involved. After all, Diddy isn't one to roll solo. He's been pals with the Listerous for decades. But why Steve? Why now? It appears that Diddy's arrest has unlocked a Pandora's box of secrets, and Steve Harvey's reputation is gradually being dragged through the mud.
I remember, like, I don't know if you know what his voice sounds like, but like, I felt like I was in the presence of his monster inside.
But what really has people talking is the timing of Marjorie Harvey's decision to file for divorce. It's almost too perfect. On the very same day that Diddy gets taken into custody, Marjorie is already making moves to distance herself from Steve. It's as if she knows something big is about to go down and wants to get ahead of the fallout. Some are calling this a classic move to protect her assets, especially with all the potential lawsuits and scandals looming. Steve's fortune is massive, reportedly worth hundreds of millions thanks to his TV shows, book deals, and business ventures. If there's any truth to the rumors linking him to Diddy's situation, you can bet lawyers will be lining up to get a piece of that fortune.
That this is the end of the Diddy story, as we know.
But things get even more intriguing from this point on. However, things weren't as perfect as they seemed behind the scenes, with rumors of a divorce circulating long before Diddy's arrest even occurred. The public was simply unaware of how bad things really were. Mayor and Steve's relationship has always seemed picture-perfect, right? the happy couple who blended their families and appeared on red carpets looking like they were straight out of a romance novel.
The thing that Marjorie's not telling you
telling
all.
everybody's
Yes,
business? Okay, now don't let me start telling Steve's business.
Since Diddy's arrest has made it seem as though everything is coming to a head, there has been speculation that Margaret's quick decision to file for divorce is actually intended to protect the Harvey empire rather than end her marriage. After all, if Steve's relationship with Diddy is fully revealed and Margaret's wealth is at risk of being linked to the fallout, it makes perfect sense for her to want to leave while she can, securing her share of the fortune before things could blow up.
Evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those 2 raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these performances that have.
But here's where things get even murkier. There are plenty of conspiracy theories swirling around that this whole divorce might be nothing more than a strategic move. Think about it. What if Marjorie and Steve had been planning this for months, knowing that Diddy's arrest was inevitable? By filing for divorce now, they could be trying to distance their assets from whatever legal troubles are coming Steve's way. In other words, this could all be an elaborate ploy to keep their money safe from the prying hands of the law.
Posted yesterday all over our social media pages, Cassie filed a lawsuit in New York City against Diddy.
Yikes.
She's claiming she was stuck in a decade-long cycle of a.
It's also important to keep in mind that Marjorie isn't exactly new to scandal. Those who have followed her past know that she had some dubious relationships prior to both of her first husbands becoming involved in large-scale criminal enterprises. As such, it's difficult to accept that Marjorie is simply an innocent victim in this case. Rather, some would argue that she has been preparing for a moment like this her entire life.
Please, stop. Stop ignoring the red flags in your relationship and thinking you can change them.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. At the center of all this drama is a relationship that, at one point, appeared to be the epitome of the perfect haul-up Hollywood love story. After more than 10 years of marriage, Steve and Marjorie Harvey appeared to have it all: fame, wealth, and a blended family, which Steve frequently extolled on his broadcasts. He experienced some of his greatest moments with Marjorie by his side, and the two of them seemed to be an unstoppable power couple.
But what would you say? What's been the key to our success?
The fact that you respect me and I respect.
So what went wrong? If you look a little closer, you can see that the cracks in their marriage date back to a time before Diddy's incarceration. Was Diddy's arrest the final straw that brought their marriage to an end, or had things been falling apart before then? There have been rumors of conflict between Steve and Marjorie regarding their finances, and Steve has been noticeably anxious in recent months. Some claim that Steve has been devoting more time to his work than ever, which is frequently a warning indication that something is amiss at home.
Doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention. So they go and they arrest him. They arrest a guy who came to New York to turn himself.
Whatever the circumstances, it is not coincidental that Marjorie filed for divorce on the same day that Diddy was arrested. Rather, it seems as though she saw this coming and chose to act before it was too late. And can you really blame her, given that Diddy's reputation was being tarnished and Steve's name was now possibly connected to the same scandals? In order to protect herself and her wealth, Marjorie is doing like any other person in her situation would.
Clearly, there is a criminal investigation underway, and that they believe that there would be evidence of crimes in one or both of these homes.
The really bad news is this: some claim that Marjorie is not just trying to shield herself from the scandal. Rather, there are rumors that she has been planning this for years, and that Diddy's arrest provided her with the justification to finally take action. If Steve turns out to be connected to Diddy's downfall, Marjorie can deny any involvement in the affair and walk away with a sizable portion of his estate. If Steve escapes unscathed, however, Marjorie will still be walking away with a sizable portion of his.
She got up with me. She was the best.
So, is Marjorie a victim in all of this, or is she playing the long game? It's hard to say, but one thing is clear: she's not waiting around to find out. Filing for divorce on the same day as Diddy's arrest was a bold move, and it's definitely sparked conversation. With rumors swirling about Steve's involvement in Diddy's dark world, this divorce is bound to get even messier. Now let's dive into the theories about why Steve might be connected to all of this. Some are saying that Steve attended several of Diddy's infamous parties over the years, and these weren't just typical celebrity gatherings. There are stories about what went on behind closed doors, and while Steve has always maintained a squeaky clean public image, there are whispers that he wasn't exactly an innocent bystander.
In this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap industry.
Imagine the headlines if it turns out Steve was involved in some of the scandalous activities now being linked to Diddy. It would be a complete reversal of the image he spent decades building. Steve's entire career revolves around being the family-friendly guy, offering relationship advice and cracking jokes about everyday life. If it's revealed he was part of Diddy's inner circle, it would instantly shatter the public's perception of him. But here's where things get complicated. Steve's been in the industry for a long time and knows how to play the game. If he had any involvement in Diddy's world, he's likely been doing everything possible to keep it hidden. However, as Diddy's legal troubles escalate, more people may start talking, and if that happens, Steve's carefully constructed image could come crashing down.
When I hung the phone up, I went upstairs, I said, Marjorie down, I said, Marjorie, we got a problem. When I explained it to her, Marjorie started crying.
The timing of everything couldn't be worse for Steve, who continues to be a prominent person in the entertainment industry, with a number of TV shows and commercial endeavors that depend on his polished persona's career may come to an end if these reports prove to be accurate. That doesn't even account for the financial damage he might suffer if Marjorie's divorce proceeds and she takes away a sizable portion of his assets.
Stand-up comedian, entertainer, television host, family man. But most importantly, I happen to be a man of...
As for Marjorie, she's no stranger to scandal and knows how to navigate Hollywood's murky waters. If she's truly trying to distance herself from Steve before his full connection to Diddy is revealed, it's a smart move. She has her own reputation to protect, and the last thing she needs is to be dragged down by Steve's potential downfall. However, Marjorie might not be as innocent as she appears. People are already starting to question her motives, especially given her past connections. It's no secret that Marjorie was involved with some less than reputable figures before marrying Steve, and some believe this divorce is just another calculated step in a series of strategic moves.
Controlled every aspect of her life. He is accused of frequently beating her and would hide her in hotel rooms for days until the bruising and signs of abuse were gone.
This raises a bigger question. Is Marjorie really the victim here, or is she playing her own game? Maybe Diddy's arrest was just the nudge she needed to finally make her move and secure her financial future. Perhaps she's been planning this all along, and with Steve's name now being dragged into the scandal, she's jumping ship while she still can. Many have pointed out that Marjorie isn't exactly new to shady situations. Her history is filled with connections to some pretty questionable figures, and it seems like every time you dig deeper, another story emerges, painting her in a far more complicated light than the picture-perfect socialite she's appeared to be by Steve's side for the past decade.
Clients describe NBC as hell, as the worst conditions they've been in.
Let's go back in time for a little while. Marjorie wasn't always the opulent person we see her displaying on Instagram these days, traveling to far-flung places and mingling with A-list celebs before she became Mrs. Steve Harvey. Marjorie was formerly married to two men who were highly involved in extralegal activities, and their affiliations have cast a shadow over her image ever since. She was related to some severe difficulties.
First say that you shouldn't feel guilty for anything.
First, there's Jim Townsend, Marjorie's first husband, who was a major player in a large criminal ring. He was sentenced to life in prison, and while Marjorie was never formally charged with any wrongdoing, rumors have long persisted that she knew much more about his operations than she admitted. Some even say that authorities were building a case against her at the time, and it was only because Townsend struck a deal with the feds that she managed to avoid legal trouble. He served 26 years before receiving a pardon, and during his time behind bars, Townsend reportedly began writing a tell-all memoir about his life with Marjorie. In it, he allegedly claims that Marjorie was no innocent bystander. Although she divorced him before he'd served 5 years of his sentence, the details of their relationship raise serious questions about the kind of life she was living back then.
You got the Diddy situation where he jumps on a private jet, they say yesterday. and is on his way to the Cape Verde Islands.
Then there's Donald Woods, Marjorie's second husband, who also had ties to illegal activities. Woods, too, found himself on the wrong side of the law, leaving Marjorie once again under a cloud of suspicion. It's clear that she's had her fair share of involvement with powerful men who weren't exactly living by the rules. So when we look at the current situation with Steve Harvey, it's hard to overlook Marjorie's past and not question if her motives are as innocent as they seem. Could it be that Marjorie has a pattern of aligning herself with men who live in the fast lane, only to jump ship when things start to go south? It's a theory gaining traction, especially as people start connecting the dots between her previous marriages and her current situation. Marjorie has always seemed to find herself at the center of major drama, and the timing of her divorce filing, right on the heels of Diddy's arrest, has only added more fuel to the fire.
Now, so what is next? Is he going to be in jail in this facility until the trial begins? Is there a chance he could, get moved earlier than that?
As of this moment, as of this hour, as of today, yes. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be appealing this thing next to the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn the judge's order here to try and get him actually released.
Remember that a few years ago, Lori Harvey, Marjorie's daughter, was romantically linked to Diddy? The tablets had a field day with that one. Lori, who was in her early 20s at the time, was spotted hanging out with Diddy, sparking rumors about their relationship. People were shocked, especially since Lori had previously been linked to Diddy's son Justin Toms. That's right, Lori was rumored to have dated both father and son at different times, raising eyebrows and leaving people wondering what Marjorie thought of the whole thing.
You are the prize. Don't give yourself to anybody.
But this is when the exciting part begins. Despite the apparent scandal regarding the age gap and difficult family dynamics, Marjorie didn't appear to mind Lori's relationship with Diddy. In fact, according to some accounts, Marjorie allegedly encouraged the relationship. Let that sink in for a moment. Marjorie Harvey, the lady who is currently attempting to put her distance from given that her daughter is dating the man at the center of the controversy, the fallout from Diddy's imprisonment appears to be acceptable. However, this begs the question of how much Marjorie knew about Diddy's lifestyle and whether or not she ignored the warning flags.
There's layers upon layers. When you get into these conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers.
It's simple to blame Steve Harvey and conjecture about his role in Diddy's extravagant parties, but Marjorie's previous actions also don't exactly present her in the best light. If Marjorie approved of Lori's relationship with Diddy, does that mean she was aware of the kind of things that were going on behind closed doors? If so, why didn't she intervene to shield her daughter from what is now becoming apparent to be a very concerning situation?
Some problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there is enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We will.
Some people are starting to wonder if Marjorie's sudden decision to file for divorce is less about distancing herself from Steve's potential scandal and more about protecting her own reputation. After all, if more details about Diddy's parties come to light, and it turns out Marjorie knew what was happening all along, her image could suffer greatly. Filing for divorce now might be her way of getting ahead of the story, making it seem like she's cutting ties with Steve because of his involvement, when in reality, she could have been just as close to the situation. And let's not forget the financial angle. Marjorie has enjoyed a life of luxury since marrying Steve. With rumors swirling about Diddy's arrest and the potential fallout for those connected to him, it's possible she's looking to secure her assets before things get even messier. By filing for divorce, Marjorie might be positioning herself to walk away with a significant portion of Steve's fortune, all while keeping her hands clean from any legal troubles that could arise.
So I don't give them no energy. I give haters no energy. Steve ain't this, he think he this. You don't even know.
At the end of the day, we can't ignore that Steve Harvey might not be the only one who has some explaining to do. Marjorie's history of aligning herself with powerful men who eventually end up in trouble raises serious red flags. Is she truly just trying to protect herself, or is there something more behind her sudden desire to cut ties with Steve? And speaking of Diddy, let's take a closer look at what's happening with him right now. His arrest has sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, with explosive allegations ranging from illegal activities to personal controversies. It seems like Diddy's entire empire is crumbling before our eyes. But what's next for him? What kind of consequences is he facing, and how might this affect the people who have been associated with him for so long? Experts are weighing in, and the outlook for Diddy isn't looking good. Some legal analysts believe the evidence against him is overwhelming. And with the FBI involved, it's likely only a matter of time before more people come forward with their own stories. As more victims and witnesses are interviewed, the scope of Diddy's legal troubles could widen, potentially dragging even more high-profile names into the fray. Then there are the potential consequences Diddy could face if convicted. With charges this serious, he could be looking at a significant amount of time behind bars. For someone who has spent decades living a life of luxury, the harsh reality of prison could be a major wake-up call. While he's always been the life of the party in the music industry, that same charisma won't help him much in a court of law.
The government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being. They have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
But it's not just Diddy's future that's hanging in the balance as his legal battles unfold. We're likely to see a ripple effect impacting everyone connected to him over the years, from business partners to close friends. The fallout from Diddy's arrest could be extensive, and some of the biggest names in entertainment might be bracing themselves for the storm ahead. As more details about Diddy's case emerge, people will start questioning the relationships they once idolized. What we thought we knew about the glamorous lives of these celebrities could turn out to be nothing more than a carefully crafted facade. As the curtain gets pulled back, we're left wondering how many other secrets are hiding in plain sight. One thing is for sure, the scandal is far from over. With every new headline, the web of connections between Diddy, Steve Harvey, Marjorie, and others grows more tangled. As the legal drama plays out, we're bound to see more names drawn into the spotlight. Will Steve Harvey manage to escape unscathed, or will further revelations tie him more deeply into Diddy's world? Is Marjorie truly the victim, or is she playing a calculated game to shield herself from the fallout? And what about Lori? How much did she know about Diddy's lifestyle during their time together, and what does this mean for her future? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think there's more to this story that we don't know yet? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.